Returns. There, I said it. The dreaded R word. That's it. It's returns. Nobody wants to talk about how to properly address returns on your products. The ways you probably heard about Amazon FBA, private labels, and returns altogether, you've probably just heard about it during the process of vetting a product. And you're looking at, oh, should I get into these electronics? But electronics has high returns for the category. Clothing and apparel also has high returns for the category, so I should avoid them altogether. Yes, you are saving money by avoiding these categories, but just because you pick a category that's outside of electronics and outside of clothing does not mean you are safe from returns and you do not have to worry about it, especially now. The biggest thing now, and something that Amazon has dropped, I believe it was in 2024, they dropped the fact that they now have an additional fee if you are overperforming on your category. So yes, electronics is, let's say, 15. Yes, clothing is about 15 as well, maybe higher. If you are overperforming for those categories, if you're at 16%, you have an additional fee. Doesn't matter if you're selling water bottles and the average water bottle returns is 5%. If you're at 6%, you are paying additional fees on top of the fees you already have to pay for returns. So there is so much more to pay attention to in returns, and these can easily all save you thousands of dollars. And I'm not just talking about if you have 10 products. I'm saying if you have one product, if you figure out how much you're over those returns, you can save so much. Even let's say you're all good. Let's say you're look at Amazon Central, look at your central selling account, you see that you have 4% returns and your category is 5%. You're like, fantastic. I don't even have to worry about what Ryan's saying. That's also not true. Because if you look at everybody else and how nobody in this area is paying attention to reviews and how they affect their business, and the average is taking all of that into account, think about it. There are people who are not paying attention to reviews who are maybe, let's say their category again is at 5%, and they might be hitting the 6, 7, 8% because they're not paying attention to it and they don't know how to properly reduce returns. You can gain such a competitive edge against everybody else where either if you want to keep that margin that you gain from that product by reducing your returns to make either a cheaper product or keep those profits for yourself, no matter what you want to do with it, you can gain a competitive edge against the other people in the competition just by paying attention to this. What you have to do is what's called a returns reduction project. And this is something where you have a goal of, let's say, that 5%, and you drop it down to 4%. Do the math on your items, because if you take that value of reducing the return by 1%, never mind taking out all the additional fees that Amazon is going to start charging, and if you think that these 12 fees, the dozen fees that they have added in the past 5 years is going to stop, and they're not going to have any more for the next 5-10 years that are just going to eat away more and more at your margin, you're just naive in that sense, because they will keep adding these things. They do want to make more money and they do see how popular it is getting. So they will use their leverage of Amazon FBA to charge you more and more. So the more you can reduce these returns, the more you will get. And this could all be saved easily thousands of dollars. I can help you do this for $1 a month. Right now I have a school community and I'm looking for referrals on how I could bring you profits by just reducing returns for you. And I can do that for $1, and that saving you thousands is an easy ROI for you to calculate. Look down below in the description. I'm going to have the link to the school community because there is so much untapped potential that you can have. Returns can be so tough. When you're handling this business altogether, it's hard not to think about it emotionally. There's a lot going on, especially when you have a recall or a rework. There are huge emotional spikes that you have when you're thinking about your product and how you're going to try to save your product and how much time and effort you've put into it, and you can't think clearly about how to properly handle the situation. That's where I can help out. I can guide you in the right direction on how to handle these recalls and these reworks of a product, whether to you need to do a pull the product now, whether you need could wait till the next season, maybe take the current product, send it to a warehouse and have it reworked. I could help you iron out all of that. It doesn't matter how you think about quality. If you've already done your sampling, you went through Alibaba too, they do have a system where you can have a PO inspection. They could verify your factory with certifications too. Highly recommend that. Even if you do all this, even if you go through all the sampling, you look at yourself, you test it yourself too, you go get these certifications, you get the PO inspections too, all of this, you can still have issues. There are so many ways that are outside of your control that can happen for returns. Obviously, in your control, you have your PDP. You have the different ways you can pull information that the customer is getting, and you can leverage what the customer knows so they can be better informed for your product. But there are other areas that you can't. If you think about the supplier overall, yes, you could help vet them. Yes, Alibaba has reviews that could show you all of that. But what's missing is if the management changes. If you've been partnered with them for a while, you can't control if their factory management changes. If they want to move your product to a different factory that they already own, maybe they're moving it to a different country as well. There are tons of factors, whether it's the supply line, whether it's the assembly line itself, whether it's the actual worker, we'll call them John Doe for now, who's actually on the production line and they drop 10 on the ground and put them all in a box too. You want to make sure that you can reduce these returns as much as possible. And there's so many different aspects, whether it's the specific product, whether it's the specific day on the assembly line, the specific batch that's made. People get overwhelmed by all the areas you can reduce returns on a project. And the biggest thing is that returns reductions that works for somebody else will not always work for you. It is very specific to your product. There are so many different avenues that you could go down to reduce returns, and only a certain number of them will work for your product. I have experience in all of this. I've worked with tons of products for a Fortune 50 company, and I can help you look at that and diagnose it properly so you don't have the same returns coming through. There's a reason why my job exists. Let me help you with this. The link is in the description below to the school community. I also have one video I'm going to show, a link right here that will be talking more about a product review and a breakdown I've done. And this other one will be about other QA tips that I have that sellers need to know.